this guy. He is, I don't know how many thousands of feet in the air painting this tower. Look at that. I wonder why there are no feminists taking these kinds of jobs. I was told that they can do just as good a job as a man can. That's what I've been told. Send this to someone who thinks that women should be paid as much as men.
My first question is, why aren't you taking these jobs?
Non sequitur.
But my second question is, why is it always these guys who are saying this stuff?
Yeah, because I do commentary on the internet, and these guys meaning...
It's never the strong men who work on the oil rig.
What are you talking about? The oil rig workers more likely to vote conservative to push back against your feminist...
It's always the guys who work in data entry who haven't had a callus on their hands.
Right, because the only reason you're allowed to have an opinion is if you have calluses on your hands, but the women don't have to have calluses on their hands. Why do they get to have an opinion?
They don't work physically demanding jobs.
Stop making up. You don't know anything about my life, and also you tied my opinion's value to the ability of my labor. Patriarchy much?
And yet somehow they're not even embarrassed to use the accomplishments of better and stronger men than them in an effort to insult women.
Where in the video did I insult women? I merely made the observation that women don't take these high-intensive labor jobs as men do, and still complain that they're not being paid as much as men, which, by the way, I'm not complaining that I'm not being paid as much as they are.
But why do they also seem to forget that feminism is about choice?
That's not true. The early feminists hated men. Google what they said about men, and even if they were true, yes, they're choosing not to take those positions, and yet also choosing to complain about men.
Women fought so that they could stay home and raise babies while they bake sourdough bread from scratch, or so that they could go work construction on a field next to their peers who see them as an equal rather than as a woman.
Even after being given the choice, women still don't occupy these positions in proportionate numbers, and men will never see women as co-equal in these fields because men have higher lung capacity, bone density, and muscle mass. Name me one Navy SEAL that's a woman.
Women fought so that they could do one or both or none.
Cool, but they still take saturated market jobs and then complain about not being paid as much.
The fight was never about every woman wanting to have a hard job.
I wonder why.
It was so that women would have the choice to do any job they wanted as long as they were qualified.
Yeah, forget about fulfillment in the home. Go work for a soulless corporation and complain about not being paid enough because you inflated the job market and call it feminism. Good job, guys.
Just like you. You have the option to become a painter.
Women could be painters before feminism.
Feminists never set out to take your job.
Of course not, because you can't, and statistics show as much, but we need more HR, right?
I just wanted to have the same options that you did. And I don't know why the concept of choice only breaks your brain when we're talking about women unless you genuinely believe we shouldn't have one.
This entire conversation would not be even happening if you could just comprehend that women should not be complaining that they're not being paid as much.
Because I don't know what you do for work, but I have a funny feeling that you're one of those guys who cold calls hardworking people to bug them about their car's extended warranty.
Why the do you keep making up? It's so unnecessary, actually.
And you may not have that cushy office job if there wasn't a woman who was willing to step up and be an electrician in your stead.
Right, because the last time I needed an electrician, I called a woman. Shut the
Sassy male apocalypse is really funny until we need to find husbands. Only 1 in 3 men under the age of 30 are in a relationship, whereas 2 in 3 women are in a relationship. How is this possible? Women are dating older. If you have 50 men on Tinder and 50 women on Tinder, 46 of the women will give all of their attention to 4 men. On Tinder, a man of average attractiveness has to swipe 200 times to get 1 swipe back for coffee. And if the coffee date happens, 4 out of 5 of those said coffees will ghost him. The men who are rejected at that rate indulge in more misogynistic content online and, pornography. I begin to think about my brothers or my future sons. And the reality, the current situation is men are not doing well. And who wants economically and emotionally viable men the most? Women.
What's crazy to me is that this difference between what young women experience and what young men experience in dating and in relationships today is that it's just skimmed over. It's like, oh, we both have it really bad. And yeah, men have it worse, a little worse. But guys, let's be real. Just based on these statistics alone, men have it way worse than women when it comes to dating. In general, I don't think that people, especially young women, do a good job at putting themselves in young men's shoes. Because what I've seen is that there is a total lack of empathy when it comes to this issue. For example, when the loneliness epidemic was first being talked about in young men, women bashed men. They blamed men for the issue. And then women wonder why they can't find a good husband. Well, it's because when they were younger, in their 20s, and they were going through this, they just decided to stay single and build their empire.
I personally think that as a woman, I should be asking men what they bring to the table more often, because I don't think a lot of them have much to offer outside of some peen. Even if you ask an older man, what does a man do? They're like, oh, protect and provide. Well, a lot of us have like security cameras nowadays, and a lot of us can, keep a roof over our head and like food in our refrigerator. And then it's like men that can provide, like sometimes they're calling us gold diggers. When really some women just have like a bare minimum that it takes to experience them. Like they want, something above maybe what they can do for themselves. I think also some men are even feeling intimidated that they're losing leverage in the dating market because more and more women are becoming self-sufficient. Like I'll be the first to say, as a woman, I don't like to work. I don't wake up dreaming of labor. I'm not excited about it, but I love having a roof over my head. I love having food in my refrigerator. I love that, like, me having those things is not dependent on whether a man loves me or finds me attractive. For a woman like me, yeah, you're going to have money, but you're going to have a lot more than that, and a lot of men don't have the more. They don't have the other. They don't have anything else. Like, a lot of women don't necessarily crave in the way that men do because it's like easily accessible to us, right? Like, even if you're like an unattractive woman, you still have a lot of options wise because men have such low standards for these things. Like I literally could just go outside in my bonnet and scream like, hey, does anybody want to have sex with me? And a line would start forming. Even looking like James Brown, I still have options for that. When it comes to the other stuff, like, okay, we've taken the money away. We have 4 other fingers. A lot of men don't really have the looks thing going for them. I personally don't really date attractive men. That's not a preference of mine. It's just that there's not a lot of options there. And then look at how men are about height. They're more upset about height than we are. They bring it up more than we do. So looks not really a thing for a lot of men. Personality, ask any woman who's been on a date recently. A lot of men do not have personality. It's better to talk to a child, a dog, a wall, like anything. Emotional intelligence, I personally don't think a lot of men have emotional intelligence. I don't be telling men my traumas. I don't be bringing up my issues to men. I don't tell men anything. And in fact, I've gotten in really bad arguments with men because they wanted to know more about me. And I didn't see the need. I didn't see the point. What could be our last one? Faith, compassion for others. A lot of men just don't have it. And I feel like if we really wanted to, we're the ones who could be asking, like, what are you bringing to the table? Because as a woman, there's so much more at risk for us in relationships. If you're in your childbearing years, there are women every day from childbirth. STDs. I grew up with a criminal defense attorney. I've seen men, their wives and their children. It's just a lot. It's a lot going on. And I just don't feel like there's anything wrong with having like a bare minimum requirement. And I think that men are getting upset because they're realizing more and more is required of them as women have access to more things, access to capital, access to education. And then also, I feel like we're a lot better at being alone than men are. Like, it's just, this is such a long conversation. I don't even know. I think I'm going to just have to stop talking.
Women love when they get what they want. That's it.
You need
So there's no loyalty. Loyalty doesn't exist.
What I'm trying to say here, and any man who's been to divorce or had problems with women will agree with me and understand exactly what I'm saying. Women are loyal to how they feel. If you make them feel a certain way, then they're loyal to that feeling, which is loyal to you. Women aren't loyal to anything outside of how they feel. Men actually are more loyal than women because men, like I said, can suffer gracefully. Women can't. Men will be loyal to a society. Men will be loyal to a race. Men will be loyal to their friends. Women can't even get along for 5 minutes amongst themselves. Men will be best friends for 50 years. Men are loyal. We know loyalty completely. We'll go to a ditch for a flag. You want to talk about loyalty? Men are loyal. Women aren't loyal. Women are, how do I feel today? You can take a woman on a private jet to a mansion in Miami and have the best time. She'll tell you how much she loves you. And then the next day when she's mad at you, she will literally say verbatim, you never give me anything. You don't take care of me. You reject me. I'm not looked after. She'll forget 12 hours before where she had the world. Because women are only care about how they feel. They don't even think. They just feel. And what they feel is absolute gospel truth. And it matters more than society, matters more than everything else. They don't give a shit about World War II. They don't give a shit their grandfathers. They don't give a fuck about England. They don't give a fuck about anything. Because they only care about how they feel. Whereas a man might sit and say, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to suffer for the greater good of my race, my nation, my ideals. So men are loyal. Women love when they get what they want. That's it.
You need.
And once again, modern women, they think
they think that they're the cream of the crop. Oh, well, I have to carry this child in my body. So that's what I bring to the table. I'm working and, I'm making just as much as you, if not more than you. I mean, once again, statistically, that's not really true, but okay. So I'm making as much as you, if not more. I can bear children, and like a whole host of other things. Well, actually, we should be asking them what they bring to the table. Well, most women do. They already do that. But modern women get upset when a man asks them, what do you bring to the table? In fact, in most cultures, it doesn't matter whether it's an Eastern culture, Western, it don't really matter what it is. A man has to prove, I'm worthy of your daughter. I think in China, they still have like I don't know if it's called a dowry. It might be called like a bride price or something like that. A man has to say, yes, I have a gift, or I have enough money to take care of this woman, your daughter. So a man has to constantly prove himself. And even in the United States, you have to, a lot of times you have to go talk to, well, you don't have to, but it's customary to go talk to the dad or whoever their special man in their life might be. Some women have 2 or 3 different guys that they want you to talk to, right? So you have to go through, and it's a series of interviews is really what it is. Come around the family on the holidays to see how you mesh with everybody, meet my friends to see how you mesh with them, and you get grilled there. And there's always this one girl that wants to go super hard, and if you hurt her, then I'll take you out, I'll eliminate you. No, you won't. Shut up talking to me. Let's just order some nachos. That sort of thing, right? So a man always has to, and more. There's probably a lot of things that I'm forgetting, but there's more that a man has to do to prove himself. So not only do you ask what he brings to the table, he actually has to show you what he brings to the table. On the other hand, and then you're talking about, well, I have to carry the baby. Yes, and he has to protect you and the baby. You carry that baby for 9 months. He has to protect both of y'all. Any kids that y'all have, he has to figure out how to protect both of y'all. Really, honestly and truly, it doesn't stop until he dies. And it doesn't really even stop when he dies. He has to figure out a way to continue to protect and provide for y'all after he dies. That's what insurance is. You got whole life insurance, term life, UIL. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you can have. Make sure they go to college, make sure they got a car, make sure they got a nice house, even if it's not the biggest house. It's somewhere to, where they can lay their head at night. So a man has to think about all of that stuff and do all of that stuff. It's something I talked about on Father's Day. Men protect and provide really is an umbrella term. Men don't really have a job description. Their job description is make it happen. Their job description is get it done. Honestly, truly, by any means necessary. It just get it done. However, I'm hungry. I got to figure it out. I'm thirsty. I got to figure it out. Baby needs new diapers, milk, shoes. We don't have any groceries. Make it happen. Make it happen. If you have to drive for Amazon Flex, you have to go work at Starbucks while you're trying to make more money at your 9 to 5, make it happen. If you have to go over there and barter, trade your time for this stuff over here, like say you work for a store and they give out free something at the end of the night. I just work here so I can get this and bring it back to the house. Make it happen. That's the way it is. But modern women, once again, are so short-sighted that they don't see all of this stuff, and neither are they thinking about it because they never come in contact with it.
When it comes to relationships, women are the ultimate manipulators. You can't convince me otherwise because one, how are you going to turn it, flip and Uno reverse everything on him every single time he tries to actually tell you how he's feeling, and then all of a sudden it's, oh, well, you did this to me 3 months ago and y'all already hashed it out, but here it is on the surface again because it's convenient for you. Not only that, but women are the ultimate players because how are you going to start a relationship with a man, be throwing it back for him in the beginning, he locks it down with a ring, marries you, you pop out a couple of kids, and then it's no more Pound Town. That shit is shut down. Those legs are locked, closed, and tight. And now you're complaining to your friends that he's not the man that you wanted him to be or expected him to be. Man, men are not complicated creatures. They're really not. Feed them and fuck them. Feed them, fuck them, and keep them happy. And that's how, like, it's not hard science. If you're doing those two things, I guarantee you that man is going to show up for you in ways that you never imagined. My man will move mountains for me. He will go through any for me because he's fed and he's pucked and on the regular. Okay. And women sit here and complain about these good men, but want a divorce from them. Women file more than men. You know why women file more than men? Because men know as soon as they file for divorce, they lose more than half their shit most of the time. They're usually paying alimony and child support, and they lost their kids. How is that a win for a man? Meanwhile, the woman, at the end of all of this, walks away with a paycheck, two incomes from the alimony and the child support, normally keeps the house, and has more than 50-50 of the children. Of course she's walking out on top. Of course she has her big glow up once she leaves the man. Like, what the And then you're opening your legs to the next best thing because you think the grass is greener on the other side. Wake the up. Do better, women, because you're giving us good women bad reputations for the good men. End of rant this morning.
Can we please cut this where women are saying, I left because I felt unsafe. I felt unheard. I don't believe that. I honestly don't. Because women are pushing their insecurities onto men. You left him because of your feelings. I honestly hate this. It's a huge cop-out to not take accountability for her personal destruction in her own life and the way that she's destructed the own relationship. Like, whenever women go on the internet being all like, well, the moment he makes me feel unloved, I'm gonna leave. Nah, you made yourself feel unloved. But you're projecting that onto him because you don't want to admit that you're feeling insecure. You are looking at him to fill an unfulfillable void. Like, y'all are seriously leaving people because of your feelings? Seriously? Do you want a man to leave you because of his feelings? And I'm not even trying to say that these women are bad people. Like, I know a lot of you guys probably think like, oh, you know, based on the things Jenna says, it means I should leave. I am not an advocate for leaving someone. I'm an advocate for believing that they can change, building them up as a person. Because at the end of the day, we do need to take accountability for the way that people treat us because they're always reflecting us because we attract who we are. At the end of the day, like, women should stop caring about their feelings too much. It's gonna destroy everything, right? So if you're the type of girl who left a man based on your feelings, better apologize because he was probably a good man and, you know, you couldn't take it. A lot of women cannot handle being with a good man because then all of their insecurities are coming out and then the man doesn't even know how deep her insecurities are because she's not talking about it, and then she's sabotaging the relationship, and then he's thinking, oh, she doesn't want anything serious with me, when in reality, she's just so insecure, and maybe she's not even self-aware of it. Like, it's just like, stop bullshitting people. Like, it's not his fault the way that you're feeling. You're an adult. Take responsibility for it. But do not leave a good man because you don't like that he didn't do something the specific way that you wanted him to do it. Respect a man's timing. He's gonna do things on his own timing, and that's okay. One-on-one coaching in bio.
Women are always told to choose better men, like it's their problem, the men are bad.
How about taking that dreaded first step towards some personal accountability and realize that a lot of women, in fact, do need to choose better? Because a lot of times, some women tend to choose the same types of men that have the same bad characteristics over and over again and decide that it's all men that share those characteristics.
The men are never told to be better men.
Has someone not been paying attention? Because there are multitudes of individuals out there telling men every single day that they need to be better. But I guess someone must have missed that.
It's much easier for a man to choose to be better than a woman to choose better. Because a lot of these men are wolves in sheep's clothing.
Really? Exactly how difficult is it for some women out there to actually understand the characteristics that make a good man as opposed to just an attractive man? Because a lot of women will simply date on what they find attractive versus what should be considered for a relationship. And that's the main problem there.
If men started saying, I don't date single moms, the way that women say, I don't date broke men, would that be seen as preference or prejudice?
It will be seen as prejudice by some women, I imagine, but preference by men. But the answer is it's preference.
I feel like just because a woman has a baby, that doesn't mean it's the end for them. Like, if it didn't work out with their baby daddy, they still have a chance to find their person. I love when men take on women with babies. Like, I'm like, that's amazing.
I think it would be seen as prejudice, although I think it's fair. I think if you don't want to date someone who has a baby, whether you're a woman or a man, I think that should be your choice, and I think it's completely fair.
Why is it not seen as prejudice when women don't want to date broke men?
Because you don't want anyone to be leeching off of you. I think men and women should be completely equal as far as like how much they work and bring to the table, but the truth is like women do carry children, and if they have to be out of work for a while, then the men should be able to make up for that. So I would not date someone who's broke.
So I posted this video where the guy was saying like, women are buying y'all things. Like, where are you finding the women that buy things? So I use an example. Off the top of my head, I just talked about how a lot of men don't get birthday cakes. It's just not a thing. Like, dudes aren't out here planning like a big birthday dinner and saying all they boys need to come and, you know, picking out an outfit. Like, most men aren't doing that. You know what I'm saying? If they are having something, somebody else is planning it for them. I'm not saying nobody ever does it. I'm just saying men just really don't care about their birthdays. Like, they'll usually go out, have a cigar or something like that. Whatever. So in the comments on Facebook, I mean, the women are in my comments just going at me. How many cakes did you buy? So how many men have you dated? Well, first off, let me say this. Cakes are $7, okay? Like, cakes are not expensive. Cakes are like my go-to for men and women when I don't know what the you like just yet. And I don't want to spend a lot of money. So the best bet is to just get a birthday cake. If I know that you like red velvet, which most dudes like red velvet, that's what I'm going to get. It's cheap. I get a birthday card. And then is always super appreciative because it's like, oh my God, I haven't gotten a cake. And I'm like, everybody deserves a cake on their birthday. Like, so you women coming in my comments saying things like, yeah, that's why you single now. Yeah, you buying cakes. Okay. The same men that I didn't buy cakes for, not with me either. It's just like, y'all let me know every time in the comments that y'all just care about what other people think on social media. It's like, and then one girl said something about, oh, I haven't bought a cake for my man and I've been with him for 10 years. And I'm just like, so what are you doing for him on his birthday? Because if you won't buy a $7 cake, then you have to be doing something beneath that. So what you think? This is a gift? Y'all are weird.
You know, she was saying, I think there was one lady saying, you know, it's not really a hard science to keep a man happy. You just feed him and give him a little bit. That's it. That's pretty much how you keep him happy. But modern women, what they do is they put so much of their feeling into it. I don't feel like doing this. My emotions aren't there. And so a man says, okay, well, let me get you worked up. Let me get, you know, make sure your emotions are where they are. You want ice cream? Are you hungry? Yeah, you know, I'm hungry. So he gets something to eat. So that works a little, that works a little while. But then we get into the deeper emotions, right? Where the man now has to become your therapist. And this is just to get something to eat. We haven't even moved to intimacy. I got to make sure you're hungry just so maybe you'll fix me a sandwich. God forbid, you want to sleep together? How could you ask me to sleep with you when I'm going through so much and all that stuff? And so now you got to sit there and talk to her for 3 hours. And now I'm ready after you give me a back massage. After I give you a back massage, I'm going to bed. It's 12 o'clock and I am not staying up. I got to get up and go to work in 4 or 5 hours. Oh, well, you know, I offered it to you. Yes, in the midnight hour. When I've been trying to set up and talk to you for 4 or 5 hours now. I've been at this all day. Listen, man. Listen. Come on. Listen, man. These modern women be talking about foreplay starts at the beginning of the day. Little kisses here, little words of affection and affirmation. So by the time she gets home, she's warmed up. There's modern women will make you do all of this just to get into bed and lay there. They don't halfway be into it. They're not doing anything but laying there. Certain parts of the process, when it's them trying to please you, they're not good at it, but they'll trash you about what you be doing. They don't know any tricks, not even the basic ones, and they're too tired to do anything. They sound like a hurt dog when they're making their sounds. It's honestly an unenjoyable experience. An unenjoyable experience for a lot of men. I'm telling you, these modern women, no wonder some men are paying for it.
These moments of insecurity when I'm dating because I have 5 kids, you know?
I think someone's dating preference should be based on their actual production, not what they feel like they deserve. Few discretions advised.
And then when I start dating and getting on the app, I realize that my children actually aren't the problem. And that I shouldn't be insecure because I have children. Because honestly, I deserve so much better than what these dating apps have to offer. And I deserve so much better than the men that I'm surrounded by that I refuse.
Man, let me be the first to tell you, you are well within your right to refuse to date anybody. You don't have to have a partner. You can stay alone with your 5 kids. That is very true. My separation with what this woman is saying is that she said that she deserves it. How do you know you deserve it? What have you accomplished in your life to make you say, I deserve this? Because if that's the case, then everybody deserves who they think they should have. So those men that you deem to be not worth your time, what if they felt as if they deserved you? I'm sure you would say, well, don't give a what you think or what you feel. I don't want you back. And for the record, ma'am, those insecurities exist because you know just as well as we do that 5 kids is a lot to deal with.
And like some men will be like, oh, like you should feel thankful that a guy looks in your direction because you have 5 kids. Your mom raised you wrong, and I would rather be alone with a goldfish than to settle for a man like you.
Ma'am, you are in fact lying. You are not willing to just settle with a goldfish and your 5 kids, because if you were, you would have done it already. The men that you deem to be valuable are not checking for you in any way, shape, or form, because if they were, you would not be making this video. Now, although I don't agree that you're lucky that a man even looked at you because you have 5 kids, I think everybody deserves some kind of love as long as you're a decent person that is prepared to be in a healthy, functioning relationship. The part where it typically gets shaky for us is when you start to say what you deserve instead of what you actually produce. And trying to ignore the fact that 5 kids is a lot to deal with. Let's be realistic here. When you were single with no kids, I'm sure you were not giving any man with 5 children a shot. I wonder why that is. You probably didn't even allow those type of men to breathe the same air as you, but now all of a sudden the rules are supposed to change because you got 5 kids now? It's not how this works.
Baby, no. I don't care. 5 kids and all. I don't care. I'm not settling. I refuse. I deserve a man in finance, 6'5", trust fund, blue eyes as well. You know what I mean?
You deserve a man in finance, 6'5", trust fund with blue eyes. Sweetheart, where the f*** did you find these standards? How do you acquire this after not being able to obtain that in the first place? The delusion on some of y'all just is so far out of reach. What? And to think that she says she deserves that. There'd be one question, man, one question only. Why didn't you just go get that man before you had your 5 kids? When did you realize that's what you deserved? How does one increase their dating standards after their dating market value decreases? Who the f*** is doing the math here? But you know what? In some of y'all, delusion logic would never exist. And I'm sure you're never going to listen to anything that I'm saying because I'm just a normal guy. Yeah, keep the change.
Yo! Women use simps against attractive men. When women can't get or control a man who's attractive, they use simps to feel better and try to make other men jealous. Simps aren't men who are good to or respect women. They are men who will sacrifice anything, their self-respect, for an attractive woman. Attractive men refuse to simp. That is actually a huge part of why they are attractive, because they have self-respect. This can confuse a lot of women who aren't used to men who have self-respect. It often stems from their own insecurity and feeling small because of the attractive man. He has levels of security that she is not capable of. So when she can't get or control him, she uses simps against him. She'll suck them dry of validation, attention, effort, resources to feel better, worthy, like she matters, and to flex on other people. Many times to make men they do find attractive jealous. She competes with presence on the backs of simps, using them as leverage to feel powerful, when it's really insecurity. Insecurity seeks to control. It comes from ego, wanting to feel secure through validation. Except attractive men see through this nonsense, that it's just a false portrayal of value, that it's hidden insecurity, and to let it be. Even if he feels a little jealous, he will never sacrifice his self-respect, no matter how pretty she is. Watch my YouTube for more. One-on-one calls in the bio. Drizzle, drizzle.
Bradley is wrong about why women leave. His whole theory is that men got soft, beta husbands, lazy providers, and if guys would just man up, their wives would stay. His prescription is testosterone. His cure is 1955. Here's where he's missing it. Women file nearly 70% of divorces in this country, and most of the men that I've sat across from were working long hours, coming home to the kids, handling the things she never sees, and still they weren't doing enough. She isn't filing because she's doing 2 jobs. She's filing because she's been told she's doing 2 jobs. From inside the room, the women who file aren't the most tired. They're the most connected. She isn't divorcing you. She's divorcing the marriage she watches on her phone all day. The divorced friend posting beach photos captioned, "The soft life saved me." The TikTok therapist diagnosing her marriage in 60 seconds. The single mom influencer with the spotless kitchen, the calm kids, and a morning routine that never includes a husband. The IG coach selling boundaries courses where her husband is always the boundary. The post-divorce glow-up reel, new haircut, new body, new caption. I finally chose me. Every one of these is selling her the same story. The woman on the other side of the divorce is calmer, freer, hotter, and finally herself. Brad's fix is to go backwards, but you can't. You can't unspoil the algorithm. You can't put 2007 back in the box. She isn't filing because she's exhausted. She's filing because she's been told the next chapter is better. She's been told that by everyone in her phone.
One of the dumbest lies that these women who preach about toxic masculinity say is when they say things like, oh, it's okay for men to be emotional. I want my man to be emotional. I want him to vent to me. Be so for real. You do not want an emotional man. You actually find them repulsive. So sorry to all the men that had to endure that time period where being masculine was the absolute worst character trait you could have. We're kind of still going through that, but I feel like we're kind of coming out of it. But do not listen to these women. They do not want you to be emotional. They are lying to themselves. I am a woman that's not mentally ill. I talk to a lot of other non-mentally ill women on a daily basis, and we all agree that venting is very unattractive. Being hyper emotional as a man is very unattractive. And the thing is, these women that preach about toxic masculinity are actually attracted to stoicism. They are actually attracted to masculinity, but they have to lie to themselves to fit within the sisterhood. So then they go find an emotional man and they end up hating the relationship. They are completely exhausted by the emotions. And they get so upset when you put men and women into boxes. And truthfully, I think that that's fake outrage. But the thing is, I'm emotional as a woman. Most women are emotional. If my husband was also super emotional, this would never work. It would be exhausting. So how about we just celebrate the differences? How about we just celebrate the masculinity and the stoicism and say, oh, you know what? I need some of that in my life.
Just got finished watching a video of a guy telling other men not to become stepdads and to let women raise their children on their own because there was no benefit. Now, because I listened to comprehend instead of listening to respond, I watched the whole video and all the reasons he named were valid. He was in a marriage to a woman with a young son who he pretty much raised for years. And when they decided to split, she cut off all contact, communication, everything because she said it was her son. There is no benefit into raising somebody else's child and pouring into them for years for you to really have no control over the child. I'm going to go as far as saying it's really no benefit into being a step parent in general because you take care of somebody else's responsibility. And most of the time you don't even get back the bare minimum of respect, you know, from the parent or the child. So yeah, I'm going to go that far. I know it's going to be an unpopular opinion. And he said a lot of women would disagree because of course they want men to keep continuing to take care of other men's responsibilities. But I'm, like I said, in general, I'm going to go being a step parent in general for men or women. There is no benefit.
Many years from now, there is going to be a quiet crisis, loneliness in women, especially. Not because women failed, not because they weren't capable or intelligent, but because they were handed a script or a blueprint that left out the consequences. Be self-sufficient, put your career first. You don't need a man. So they followed it. They pushed love down the line. They delayed the family. They treated commitment like something that could always wait until it didn't. Fast forward a few years later. You're older, no partner, no children, no legacy, just some noise to fill that silence. Meanwhile, your grandmothers had way fewer choices, but way stronger direction. They built families. They built the roots. They built something bigger than themselves. And this generation swapped it all for convenience. Legacy for pleasure, meaning for freedom without structure. And here's the part that nobody likes to talk about. The men that they overlooked in their 20s, they didn't just vanish. They were building, failing, learning, becoming disciplined, and becoming men. Men don't peak early. They compound with time. Value grows with time and skill and responsibility. Women don't gain leverage by delaying everything. That is not cruelty. That is reality. Every decision comes with a cost. Modern narratives today did not remove the bill, they just postponed it, and the outcome is usually the same. Distractions instead of connection. Comfort instead of intimacy. And independence without fulfillment. This is not about going backward. It's about correcting the course. We don't need less ambition. We need stronger values, commitment, family, masculine leadership, feminine devotion, and a shared purpose, because freedom without foundation doesn't liberate. It isolates you completely. And tradition wasn't the problem. Abandoning it was.
You know, I go back to that clip where the father was saying there's no benefit to being a or the guy was saying there's no benefit to being a stepfather because, you know, you build a bond with the kid and they just cut off all contact and they say, well, it's my child. So, you know, you don't need to have any contact with the kid, which, you know, part of it is I put a lot of money into this kid. So there goes my investment monetarily, I guess. But then I know for a lot of men, I built a bond with this child. And so there goes my investment emotionally. I taught this kid a lot. I took this kid with me a lot of places, right? When mom was at work or mom was tired, I treated this kid like the kid came from me, like it was mine. Dad was acting crazy or dad wasn't around or dad might have even been in his life. It don't matter. In all situations, I've been here. And it's more than it doesn't really feel good to have all of this taken away from you, you know, and it kind of sucks. What a bummer. It's more than that, right? Because you get attached to the child or the children, and you say, okay, which is what a lot of men do. They say, okay, I'm going to go full into this. I'm going to show her I can be a good parent. But modern women are so unstable that one day they can get mad and just up and leave. And then they just, well, you can't have contact with my child either. What happens a lot of times with these modern women is they had a little attitude. And then when they get done with their little attitude, they try to run back to you. Oh, I'm so sorry. Really what that meant is, I had a bad attitude, and then I thought I could maybe not do better than you, but I thought I could get a man, and it didn't work. So here I am again on my own, going down the road. Sorry.
Also, another reason why women is acting more like men nowadays is because is losing their masculinity. Y'all not giving us what we need. If you can't have control of the situation and you acting like a woman, how can we let our guard down and give you that
approach,
control?
y'all act like the man. Y'all masculine.
We need to be masculine until
No,
you
you
show
don't.
us. Until you show us that you can be. Otherwise, we're not going to step into our femininity. Like
femininity is not conditional. If you have a you should always be feminine. If I'm dealing with a man, I'm gonna be feminine regardless. If he is too soft or weak for me, I'm not gonna waste my time. I'm gonna move on.
Right.
But I'm not about to start acting like DMX.
But
because
she's trying to stay.
Y'all believe in women's intuition.
Yeah.
If you can feel that your man is cheating, why can't you tell when he's unhappy?
I definitely agree. I think a lot of women are selfish in relationships. If we just gonna be honest in terms of their care, like they care about what they can benefit from, right? But when it comes to making sure that man is solidified, making sure that man is taken care of, that doesn't become a problem until he stops giving her what she wants.
Deadass look at you dead in your face and say, I'm not going to do this unless I have a ring on my finger. How the f- do you expect to get the ring on your finger if you're not doing what you need to do to get the ring on your finger? You're just going to, as soon as you get the ring, you're just going to switch. You're just going to flip a switch. That is not how this works. You have to be actively acting as a wife to then get the ring. You can't just do what you want, get a ring, and then act like a wife. That's not how this works.
So you kind of prove my point. I just feel like we get so much flack to single moms, but not to the men who made them single moms. Like, I feel like the energy, if you're going to give the energy to women who have children and they're raising them by themselves and now they want to date, you have to give the energy to the man that put them in that position. Like, so that's the part that I don't like that's not balanced. Like, if anything, the father who decided to not raise his child should get all this negative attention, not the mother who's making it happen by whatever she's giving. And that's where I just think that that's unfair. Like, y'all should be men, because a lot of men scold the single moms. You should be scolding your gender, the men who do not take care of their responsibility and raise their children. And that would seem to me fair. Because if a woman's a single mom, it's because the guy's not there.
Exactly. We didn't choose this life. It chose us. Like, I didn't wake up one day and be like, oh, I don't want to be with the father of my kids anymore. That wasn't a choice. It just happened that way. And again, we're doing everything. I bust my ass to take care of my kids. Like, I grind. And so it just was very hurtful to see all of those comments about single mothers. And yes, like, why not give it to the men?
A few moments later.
It goes back to what you said. They're going to say, these men will date you, but are they going to marry you? That's what they're going to say.
Oh, well, a man ain't never left me. I left them. My fiance that I was engaged to, I broke that off. We bought a house together and everything. And I still cut it loose. Okay, because I'm the type of woman, I have money. I got my own money. I get my own bag. I don't got to deal with nobody's shit. So if you're treating me how I don't want to be treated, if you ain't got no business doing in a relationship, we're done. And I don't got to stick around. A lot of women settle. I don't. I know my worth, and a lot of people don't like that. They don't want you to know your worth and what you deserve. I do. So a man ain't never left me.
And on periods. And on period.
Men don't need a lot. They just need the right things consistently. And when a man feels fulfilled by his woman, he becomes the most loyal, grounded, and devoted partner you will ever have. Let me break this down. The 5 things that matter the most. Number one is respect. This is number one for a reason. Men don't love the way women love. Men love through respect. Speak to him in a way that does not strip him of his freaking dignity. Do not belittle him, nag him, or question his competency when he's trying. A man who feels respected gives everything back tenfold. Number two, peace. Men go to war in the world every single day. They deal with certain pressures, expectations, and responsibilities that women never see. When he comes home, he's not looking for more chaos. He's looking for calm energy and a woman who isn't constantly in fight mode. Be his peace, and he will protect that peace with his life. Number three, appreciation. Men don't hear thank you enough. They notice every little thing they do because they do it for you. His effort doubles when you actually acknowledge it, not with some exaggerated praise, just genuine gratitude. A simple, I love how you handled that, or I really appreciate you, goes to his soul. Number four, affection and intimacy. Men need physical closeness to feel emotionally connected to you. So touch him, kiss him, make love to him, initiate it sometimes. Make him feel wanted, not tolerated. When a woman gives her man affection freely and confidently, his loyalty is locked in. Number five, admiration. Let him know that you see him. You notice who he is. You believe in him. Men rise to the level of a woman who believes in their potential. When he feels admired by you, he expands. His purpose grows. His desire to provide, protect, and love you grows with it. So keep your man satisfied, okay? It has nothing to do with perfection. Nobody's perfect. It is not about being a maid, a mother, or a doormat. It's about being a partner who understands how men feel love, respect, peace, appreciation, affection, and admiration. That's it.
Black women's rules only apply to black men. White men get it for free, and that comes with no blonde wigs or weaves. Man, what the tenderism? Because you did not just have to cook like that. That's really some funny ass shit, because it's really funny to me how a lot of black women sit here like with this sense of entitlement, like they were just born with it. Like, don't nobody owe you shit. The only person that owe you something is yourself, and you owe yourself dignity and self-respect because you have none. You owe yourself some love because you don't even understand what it is, because why you don't love your you don't want to even take care of yourself. You want to live in this world learning how to live off of people. What type of man want a woman like that? Y'all have all these stipulations on what you won't do for these black men, but let it be a white man. Let it be a white man with some other money at that. Oh, you are going to conform immediately. Y'all gonna conform as quick as Brittany Renner went to be a Muslim with Kevin Gates. Y'all are going to conform just like Summer Walker did with that white man. You see, she do whatever the he asks. She is not finna up that situation because of that money. And because she hates black men and he's a white man. So of course, you know, she had her black ass baby daddies. Yeah, her black ass ex-boyfriends. So now she's conforming. And you are following suit. Y'all took the Megan Thee Stallion and Klay Thompson situation to a whole new level. Y'all seen the fact that, oh, that is a light-skinned man and he just letting her still do her whole. Let me go find a man like that, because clearly she's not submitting to him because he's letting her do what the she want to do. Why? Because she's Meg Thee Stallion. Ain't no real man, let alone a real black man, finna allow you to do that. His life is already hard, and you going outside or just going on the internet portraying like that is already making it harder for him. He's fighting the world, and now you gotta fight social media too? Like, ain't no way. If it's a black man saying something, these black hate it. But let a white man say he want this and he want that and he want this and he want that and he got some money. Oh, gonna say, oh, anything for him. He can take care of me. He trying to move me into his house and he gonna pay all my and I don't gotta pay for nothing. And all I gotta do is cook and clean and go shopping on his dime. I feel like some of y'all parents shouldn't have told y'all that y'all was princesses and deserved the world, because a lot of you don't. As you see, there's only one black Disney princess. It's only one of us. There's only room for one. All of you are not princesses, especially black women. Y'all are not all queens. Y'all are not all princesses, because y'all act in this sense of entitlement and have not worked for a thing in your life. Maybe if you poured more into yourself instead of pouring more into your maybe these real men would see you. Maybe they would understand you. But no, they don't want to deal with you mother sucker bitches. You harlots.
A lot of women, they don't realize that they are the issue. And so we have a problem taking accountability. We have a problem shutting up. We are extremely argumentative. And a lot of times we are the walking red flag.
Can I ask that question if you don't mind?
Sure.
Like, why do black women refuse to shut the up?
Ooh, that's a heavy.
Why?
That's a heavy loaded question.
Why?
Look, they can't shut up the answer.
I want to know why.
I'm gonna tell you
Can't
why.
shut up the answer.
It just goes back to what she said. A lot of it is lineage. So a lot of women, we saw our mothers and we saw our grandmothers being. Wait, let me cook, because it's not all of us. Some of us do know how to be quiet, but
they're the married ones.
But a lot of times we watch our mamas and we watch our grandmothers and great grandmothers not shut up, right? It's a generational curse. I'm gonna be honest with you, because we was raised in households where the women had to handle it, okay? We had to pay the bills. We had to be independent. We had to run households and we had to raise kids alone. So yeah, a lot of times we not gonna shut up because this my shit and I've been doing it. However, it's not right. And what I had to learn is learning to be quiet is a skill, okay? Especially when you don't come from that example, you have to learn how to be quiet. You have to learn how to submit, and you have to learn how to not be argumentative. And a lot of women don't take the time to learn that skill.
Man, this is the Nothing But the Truth live podcast.
One of the things that a lady said in one of these clips was, a man can't fix anything that he did not cause. And that's exactly what a lot of these modern women want a man to do. I mean, to a T. To a T, that's what they want the man to do. Well, other men did this to me. They treated me like this. And a man is like, I mean, I could help you with that. But what does that have to do with me? I didn't do that. Well, you know, you a man, so you should understand this is, I mean, like I said, I can help you with that, but I didn't do that. And modern women, they really treat men as if the man did something. And the man is confused, the man walk in bewildered. There's been plenty of times that men have walked in the house with food from work, thinking he about to have a good, hey babe, I bought your favorite, man, I stopped by and, you know, I got us some subs, or I got your favorite pizza, or whatever what might be. And she's sitting up in the dark mad at him. He didn't even do anything. What's going on? Man, what's up? Oh, you know, nothing. Okay, well, you know, like I said, I got your favorite pizza. I got wine. You know, what do you want to do? Like, let's put on a movie. Let's watch that show that you were talking about. And it be on the weekends too. It be on the weekends, the prime time where we should be chilling. And this is what men have to go through with these modern women. And when you look at that type of stuff, and it's one thing if it happened every so often, but modern women, they do this on a regular basis. I'm talking about 2 to 3 times. So for some of these women, it gets as bad as 2 to 3 times a week, at least. They're in a bad mood every single freaking day. And a man did already married the woman, so he's stuck. Men look at that and they be like, man, not for me. Not at all.